ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Today we are going to start a new text called Panchadashi. It is one of the well-known Prakarana Vedanta Grantha. Before discussing on Panchadashi, let us have a brief introduction to Vedanta. Then we will talk about the text and get into the text. Panchadashi is a Prakarana Grantha, like Tattva Bodha, Vedanta Sara. One of the uniqueness of our tradition is the acceptance of certain means of knowledge. The means of knowledge is called Pramanam. Shastram is a Pramanam. Shastram, otherwise called Veda, it is a means of knowledge. Mukhya Pramanam. Mukhya Shabda Pramanam. One of the Pramanam, the means of knowledge. Therefore, Shastram, the Veda, is not a book. It is a Pramanam. It is not the authority. It produces, the Pramanam produces new knowledge. Shastram also produces certain knowledge, which is not available for other means of knowledge. That is why Shastram is a Pramanam. Why Shastram is a Pramanam? Anadhigata Vishayatvat. Shastram is a means of knowledge because what the Shastram reveals, it is not discovered, it is not available for discovery for the other means of knowledge. The subject matter of the Shastram is not available for discovery for the other means of knowledge. Whatever the Shastram talks about, anything other than the perception, the pratyaksha, anumana, arthapati, other than that, that is the subject matter of the Shastra. And the condition for a Pramanam to be a Pramanam is Anadhikata, Avadita, Palavat Artha Bodhakatvam. Palavat Artha Bodhakatvam is important. The subject matter of the Shastram, the Vedas, should be useful. Should be useful either directly or indirectly. And being a Pramanam, Shastram cannot go against any other Pramana. And therefore, Veda is a Pramanam, Swatah Pramanam. It stands by itself. And therefore, it is Abaditam, not dismissed by, cannot be dismissed by any other means of knowledge. Because Swatah Pramanatvat, being Swatah Pramanam, therefore, any other means of knowledge cannot dismiss what the Shastram says. Similarly, Shastram also cannot dismiss what the other Pramanam says. Therefore, the Pramanams have independent scope of knowledge. Since each Pramanam has its own subject matter, Shastram also has its own subject matter. Therefore, Palavat, Anadhikata, Abadita, Vishaya, Bodhakam, Veda Pramanam, Shastra Pramanam. Punya, Papa, all these are Adrishtam. They are Anadhikata. Anadhikata means it is not available for other means of knowledge, not covered by other means of knowledge. Therefore, they cannot be contradicted. Punya Papa cannot be contradicted. Punya Papa, Swarga Loka, etc. They cannot be contradicted by the other means of knowledge. What the Veda says is uncontradictable. And the vision of the Veda is oneness, Ekatvam. Ekatvam is the vision of the Veda, Tatparyam of the Veda. Not sameness. Sameness is not the vision. The oneness. One is not separate from Atma. That is the vision of the Veda. I am not separate from Atma. We are not separate from Atma. You are what you want to be. You want to be free from the sense of insecurity. You want to free yourself. The sense of insecurity is centered on this I, the myself. It is a sense of insecurities. Insecurity really is not there for Atma, but it is centered, it is a sense of insecurity. Since it is centered on I, therefore I have to free myself. Therefore, I have to free myself from this sense of insecurity, sense of discomfort, sense of unhappiness, dukkam. So, therefore, what the Shastram says is, you are searching for your Swarupa. You are searching your Swarupa. Therefore, you are already what you want to be. That is the subject matter, that is the vision of the Veda, the Shastra. So that is the knowledge. Pramakaranam pramanam. Therefore, Veda is a means of knowing because it has a subject matter. Purva, Veda Purva has got its subject matter. Vedanta has got another subject matter, different subject matter. So this knowledge of oneself, that the one who wants to gain that already gained, that is oneself, that is the subject matter of the Vedanta. Therefore, since this knowledge, self-knowledge, Atma Jnanam, is not covered by other means of knowledge. Therefore, anadhikatam, na adhikatam, anadhikatam. Anadhikatam. And the palam is to discover your Swarupa, that aham muktaha iti. So, therefore, Vedanta, otherwise called Upanishad, is a pramanam. The whole Veda is a pramanam. Veda Purva and Vedanta. We are interested in Vedanta. Therefore, Vedanta, Veda, the pramanam, Shabda pramanam. It is called Shabda pramanam. From Shabda is words. Veda is nothing but the collection of the words, Shabda Rashi. The words give you the knowledge. The words give you the knowledge, therefore Shabda Pramanam. Not only the words of Veda, even otherwise any Lokika words also gives you knowledge. Therefore Shabda is considered to be a Pramana. And Veda as a Shabda Pramanam, it is an independent Pramanam because the subject matter not covered by other means of knowledge cannot be dismissed by other means of knowledge. Therefore, anadhikata abhaditatvat pramanam iti. And Vedanta is Vedanam antaha Vedantaha. Vedanam antaha, the end of the Vedas. The end of the Veda is called Vedanta. Really speaking, this Vedanta, what is discussed in Vedanta, it is discussed in the the body also, in the Veda, in other parts of the Veda also. It is not confined only to the end portion of the Veda. Anta meaning end. Vedanam antaha Vedantaha. Since primarily the Upanishads or Upanishads which talk about, which reveals this Atma, or which gives this Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, since they are located at the end, therefore called Vedanta, but it is not confined only to the end portion only. It is discussed in many places, in the other places also in the Veda, but it is discussed very thoroughly at the end. There is a thorough discussion at the end. So, therefore, Vedanta we call. And Vedanta fulfills all the criteria for determining the given subject matter. Even though it is discussed all over the Veda, since it is thoroughly discussed at the end, the Vedanta, Vedana Antaha. Therefore, the Vedanta, otherwise called this Upanishads, since the Upanishads are located at the end where there is thorough discussion of this subject matter, because of the location, the position, it is called Vedanta. Upanishads are called Vedanta. Upanishad means Atma Jnanam, self-knowledge. Upanishad means, the meaning of the word Upanishad is self-knowledge, Atma Jnanam. It is the knowledge of self, the Atma, Brahma. And there are primarily two books, two grantha, Dvau Grantha available, which discusses the Vedanta. Shastram, the Veda, Vedanta, the Upanishads are the Mukhya Pramana. They are the primary source of knowledge. What knowledge? Self-knowledge, Atma Jnana. And there are two books, two granthas available, which discusses the topic of Vedanta. What are those two books? One is Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is nothing but Vedanta. That is why it is called Gita-Upanishad. It is a Moksha Shastram. Whatever is stated in Upanishads, the same thing is talked about or restated in Gita. And written by Vyasacharya. It's a grantha, it's a book. The second one is Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra, there the topic, the Vishaya of the Vedanta is presented in the form of the Sutra. Sutra we know Alpaksharam, Asandigdam, Saravati Vishwato Mukham iti. Astobham Anavadyam cha Sutram Sutravido Viduhu. These Sutra presents the subject matter in a capsule form. By reading the Sutra, one cannot understand. And the Sutra also subject to different interpretation. Therefore, Shankara Bhagavad-pada had written a commentary on Brahma Sutra. So, Brahma Sutra and Bhagavad Gita, these are the two. And for Gita, Bhagavad-pada had written commentary, and many other people also have written commentaries. And for Brahma Sutra also, Acharya had written, for which there are sub-commentary, like Bhamati is written by Vachaspati Mishra. Vachaspati Mishra had written a commentary on Brahma Sutra called Bhamati. And Amalananda had written a commentary on the commentary, which is called Kalpataru. Appaya Dikshitar had written a commentary on the Kalpataru, which is called Parimalam. So therefore, there is a commentary and the sub-commentary is available. It is further commented by another Acharya. It is further commented by another Acharya. Therefore, commentary, sub-commentary, sub-commentary, like that, many commentaries are available. The first commentary is Bhagavad Pada. We take Acharya Shankar Bhagavad Pada's commentary, and for reference, we refer the other commentaries also. And there is a Tippani also. Tippani means footnote. Tippani is footnote. The commentary to the commentary is called Tika. Ashyakara written commentary, and for that commentary, if another Acharya writes commentary, that is called Tika. It's a technical name, Tika. And the Tika to the Tika is called Tikayaha Tika. That is called Tippani. So Tippani is a footnote. It's a footnote. So there are many Acharyas have written the footnotes for the commentary. So Tippani is Tikayaha Tika. Tika is the commentary to the commentary. And commentary to the commentary is what is called Tika. In English, we can translate as footnotes. Certain words, they explain. So, since these two are the Grantha available, the Gita and Brahma Sutra, secondary source of knowledge. The topic of Vedanta is discussed in this. In addition to that, there are other Grantha available, which are also studied in the tradition. The Sampradaya, they are also studied. A particular topic is taken and is discussed in detail. Such types of Granthas are available. They are called Vedanta treatise, otherwise called Prakarana Grantha. There are many Prakarana Granthas. There are many Prakarana Granthas written by various Acharya. Tattvabodha is the basic Prakarana Grantha. It makes you familiar with the words which are used in the discussion of Vedanta. And the extension of Tattvabodha, we can say Vedanta Sara, written by Swami Sadananda. The same Tattvabodha, the content is same. Even many Vakyas are same, but it is discussed elaborately. It is discussed a little elaborately. And if Vedanta Sara, suppose, if it is discussed further elaborately, then it becomes Panchadashi. So Panchadashi is a Prakarana Grantha. What is discussed in the Shastram? A certain topic is discussed, is taken for discussion and discussed in very detail in such Grantha. There are many Prakarana Granthas available. Viveka Chodamani is there. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha, another big Prakarana Grantha. So Panchadashi is one Prakarana Grantha. There is a definition for Prakarana Grantha. Shastraikadesha Sambandham Shastra Karyantare Sthitam Aguhu Prakaranam Nama Grantha Vedam Vipaschitaha. So they discuss Eka Sambandham, Shastraika Desha Sambandham, discussed a certain topic of the Vedanta in detail. Because in Upanishads, you don't find a detailed discussion. The detailed discussion are given in the Prakarana Grantha. The various Acharya, they write and discuss and discuss and discuss through various Drishtanta, the examples, and various methods they use to make the students and disciples understand the Tatparyam of the Upanishad. Therefore, Prakarana Grantha is important. In fact, after reading Prakarana Grantha, if you read Upanishad, it will be more meaningful, you will understand. Even the Vedanta Sara, being a Prakarana Grantha, that you cannot read because the author of Vedanta Sara, he quotes from the Upanishad, from many Upanishads. Therefore, without Upanishadic knowledge, you cannot study Vedanta Sara. But Panchadashi is not like that. So you don't need to have very good knowledge of the Vedanta. Even a new person, totally new person also can study Panchadashi. And the discussion will be, you will see a lot of Sanskritam words will be used, and the English translation also you will see. Panchadashi, every Grantha has got author. So Panchadashi also has its author. The author is Vidyaranya. Vidyaranya is the author, Vidyaranya Muni. Vidyaranya, we know, a great saint. Vidyaranya, he was the pontiff of the Shankara Mutt at Sringeri. During the year 1377 to 1386 AD, he was the head of the Sringeri Mutt. Before he became the head of the Mutt, he was the minister in Vijayanagara Empire, Vijayanagara Kingdom. In fact, the empire was established with the Anugraha of Vidyaranya. There is a story. There is a story about how this Vijayanagara Empire was established. Vijayanagara Kingdom was established by Harihara and Bukka, the two kings. Under the rule of Mughals, these Harihara and Bukka, these two people, they got converted to Islam. So they are forced to convert because Mughals were capturing many kingdoms and converting the rulers, the small rulers. So this Harihara and Bukka also, they are great warriors, but forced to convert to Islam. And when they told their plight to the condition to Vidyaranya, then Vidyaranya Muni reconverted them back to Hinduism. So that is the first Garvapsi program. Garvapsi program by Vidyaranya Muni he initiated. So Vidyaranya Muni, he made them again, the Hindus, follow the Sanatana Dharma, and asked Harihara and Bukka to establish the Vijayanagara Empire again. And with the grace of Vidyaranya Muni, Harihara and Bukka, they established the Vijayanagara Empire. Actually, this Vijayanagara kingdom, which was initiated by Vidyaranya Muni, he thought in the beginning the kingdom should exist for more than 1,000 thousands of years, 1,000 years or more should exist for a long time. The kingdom should be there, should be there ruling and protecting the people. That was his sankalpa in the beginning. But it is Ishvara's wish, probably a different thing happened. What happened was when the ceremonial program, that is the Harigara and Bukka. Harigara was supposed to be about to be coronated. So that time, a yajna was conducted. Yajna was about to be conducted, and a particular muhurta, and a particular time. And Vidyarana Muni was great in astrology also. Astrology means not the Jyotisha what we know in the modern time, not seeing the horoscope. In Veda, in Veda, this Jyotisha as an anga is there, which is called Vedanga. They study Jyotisha, it's a separate shastram, and the time is required. The time calculation is required for conducting a ritual. That is why they study this Jyotisha. There is a part of where this part of the anga. It's a part anga of the Veda. It's called Vedanga. Vyakaranam is Vedanga, grammar. Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chandas, Jyotisho. We have seen in Mundaka Upanishad. Which are Aparavidya. The Jyotisha is also a study. It's a study involving the calculation of time for conducting a yajna, a ritual. You cannot conduct anytime you want. Particular muhurta has to be calculated. And Vidyaranya Muni was great in that. In fact, he had written a book. We'll discuss. I'll tell the name later. So he calculated a particular time and asked this Harigara to be coronated at that time, and the yajna to be started at the particular time. So he gave a kala nirnaya, calculated the time and gave it to them. Vidyaranya Muni said, I will not be present, so I will be in some other place away. Then how do we know the time, which is the right time for us to start this yajna? He said, you will hear the conch sound. I will blow the conch. When you hear the conch sound, that time you can start the coronation ceremony, he said. Then they heard the conch sound also. So they thought it was the signal given by Vidyaranya Muni, and they started the coronation ceremony. But it was not his conch. That sound was not from his conch. One person walking through the forest, somebody was walking through the forest. He was walking alone. Probably he was afraid. Therefore, he was blowing his conch and walking, thinking that it was the sound from the Vidyaranya's conch. They started the coronation ceremony. And they heard second time the conch. That was the sound from the conch of Vidyaranya. So when they heard the second time, they got confused. Then they asked the Vidyaranya Muni. They said, no, it was not me who blew the conch the first time. It was maybe somebody else. Anyway, you have started. Maybe that is Ishvara's will. So your empire may not last for 1,000 years, but it will last for 300 some years, he said. In fact, that long only it lasted. If it is started at the particular time as fixed by Vidyaranya Muni, then at least it would have lasted for more than 1,000 years and would have protected many Sanatana Dharmis. Then he said, okay, this is Ishvara's wish. That is how to be happen. Then Harihara was made the king. So it's a story. So this is how the Vijayanagara Empire was established, and for that he was a key person. He was the person who initiated that. And Vidyaranya Muni is known for his tapas, is known for his tapas and is known for various works, literary works, Vedanta works, not only Vedanta, other works is very well known. Vedanta, this Vidyaranya Muni, he had did Gayatri Japa. How many times? How many times he did? That is, there's a calculation. We call Purascharana. Purascharana means taking a mantra, counting the number of letters in the mantra, and 1 lakh for each letter. 1 lakh for each letter of the mantra. As many letters are there, so many lakhs of mantra you have to do. Suppose Panchakshari is the 5-lettered mantra. So if you do 5 lakhs, 5 letters are there, 1 lakh for each letter, 5 lakhs. It is one Purascharana. So it's similarly, he did Purascharana, Gayatri Purascharana. Gayatri Purascharana. Gayatri has got 23, or you can say 24. There's a different version is there. So 24 mantras are there. Therefore, 24 lakhs Gayatri mantra japa makes one Purascharana. So Vidyaranya Muni, he did Gayatri Purascharana. It's not easy. Some people even now they are doing and they have done also, but it is not easy. If you do 1,000 times japa, Gayatri japa, one day, every day, so it will take 8 years to complete 24 lakhs. You can calculate. It will take minimum 8 years. 8 years to complete 24 lakhs Gayatri mantra japa. If you do 8 hours a day, 8 hours should be available with you to do, or you should be available. Then it will take, if you do 8 hours a day, it will take 1 year to complete one Purascharana. And Vidyaranya Muni, he had done 24 Purascharanas, not one Purascharana, 24 Purascharana. Why he had to do 24 Purascharana? He did 23 Purascharana. After 23 Purascharanas also, Gayatri Devi did not appear. So then he was worried. What happened? In spite of 24 Gayatri, 23 Purascharana, the Devi did not appear. Then in the dream, he was told that there is a dosha, Brahmahati dosha. So he is asked to do one more Purascharana. So he completed 24 Purascharana, a great tapas. He did tapas and also he had time to write so many books, grantha, so many granthas. He had written Parashara Smriti. Parashara Smriti is a Smriti grantha. It's a grantha talking about the achara, the code of conduct. Parashara Smriti. It is called Parashara Madhava. Parashara Madhava. Madhavacharya was his pre-monastic name. Before he became a sannyasi, his name was Madhavacharya. So the text Parashara Smriti is called, he had written a text on Parashara Smriti that is called Parashara Madhava. And he had also written Kala Nirnaya. Kala Nirnaya is the method of ascertaining the time for the rituals, Yaga, Voma, etc. So Kala Nirnaya is very famous in that. So he had written. And he also had written a work on Vyakaranam, Madhaviya Dhatu Vritti. He had written Madhaviya Dhatu Vritti, which I refer sometimes, Dhatu Vritti. And he had written an analytical work on Karma Kanda. About Karma Kanda also he had done some works. And Jaiminiya Nyayamala Vistaraha. It's a exposition on Jaimini Sutra. Jaimini Sutra is a sutra on the Purva Bhaga of the Veda, like Brahma Sutra on the Vedanta. Similarly, Veda Purva, it's a work on Veda Purva, Jaimini Sutra. So he had written an exposition to the Jaimini Sutra, Jaiminiya Nyayamala Vistaraha iti. Therefore, thus he has covered Purva Mimamsa, talked about written on Purva Mimamsa, Jyotisha, grammar, written on many areas. He has written many works on many areas. And he has written a lot of work on Vedanta also. Drigdrishya Viveka, a very famous Prakarana Grantha. Jivan Mukti Viveka, another famous Prakarana Grantha. Anubhuti Prakasha. Anubhuti Prakasha is the summary of the 12 Upanishads in the form of shloka. In verse form, the 12 Upanishads are summarized. Anubhuti Prakasha, it's also a big work, huge work. And he had written Upanishad Deepika, Vivarana Prameya Sangraha, iti. Many work he had written. This Vivarana Prameya Sangraha is a commentary on another commentary called Vivaranam. Vivarana Prameya Sangraha, written by Vidyaranya Muni, is a commentary on another commentary called Vivaranam. And Vivaranam itself is a commentary on Panchadipika. And Panchadipika is a commentary on Brahma Sutra. Panchadipika by Padmapada, a disciple of Shankara Bhagavad-pada. So, he had written, and also he had written Brahadaranyaka Vartika Sara, the Sara of the Brahadaranyaka Upanishad, the form of Vartikam, he had written. So, such many works he had written. How much leisure he must be having, or he must be enjoying, to do tapas and also to write such various works covering many areas. Many areas he had written. And Panchadasha Prakaranam, otherwise called Panchadashi, it is one of the Prakarana Grantha. It is one of the Prakarana Grantha, an important Prakarana Grantha. It is called Panchadasha Prakaranam. You can call it as Panchadasha Prakaranam also. It's another name. The original name is Panchadasha Prakaranam. The original name is Panchadasha Prakaranam. It is called Panchadashi. Why it is called Panchadashi? Because it has 15 Prakaranam. That is why it's called Panchadasha Prakaranam. Panchadasha Prakaranani Yasmin iti Panchadashi. So 15 chaptered work. Panchadashi means 15 chapter, 15 Prakaranam. So 15 Prakaranams are there. These 15 Prakaranams are divided into 3 sections. 3 sections, each consisting of 5 Prakaranam. So 5 into 3, 15. The first 5 Prakaranam, the chapters are called Viveka Prakaranam. It's called Viveka Prakaranam, the first 5. The next 5 chapters are called Deepa Prakaranam. The last 5 chapters are called Ananda Prakaranam. So Viveka Prakaranam, Deepa Prakaranam, Ananda Prakaranam. In the first section, the 3 sections are called Viveka, Deepa, Ananda. In the first section, that is Viveka Prakaranam, the first 5 chapters are called Viveka Prakaranam. That is the first section. Every adhyaya, every chapter, you will see that it ends with the word Viveka. So each chapter will end with the Viveka. The first part, which consists of 5 chapters, and each chapter end with Viveka, the word Viveka. So the first chapter is called Tattva Viveka. The second chapter, Mahabhuta Viveka. The third chapter is called Panchakosha Viveka. Fourth chapter, Dvaita Viveka. The fifth chapter of the first part, the first section, is called Mahavakya Viveka. So these are the names of the chapter. Tattva Viveka, Mahabhuta Viveka, iti. What is Viveka? Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. What is Viveka? We have seen. That is distinguishing Sat from Asat. That is called Viveka. Nitya from Anitya. That is called Viveka. Vastu from Avastu. That is called Viveka. So Viveka translated as discrimination. So distinguishing Sat from Asat. Sat Asadhyam. We say Sat, distinguishing Sat, understanding Sat distinctly from Asat is called Viveka. The next 5 Prakarana, they are called Deepa Prakarana. And each chapter in that I have got the name Chitra Deepaha. First chapter is called Chitra Deepaha. Each chapter ending with the word Deepa. That's why it's called Deepa Prakarana. Chitra Deepaha, Tripti Deepaha, Kutastha Deepaha, Dhyana Deepaha, Nataka Deepaha. Nataka Deepa Prakaranam. So Chitra Deepa Prakaranam, Tripti Deepa Prakaranam, Kutastha Deepa Prakaranam, Dhyana Deepa Prakaranam, Nataka Deepa Prakaranam. Then the last 5 chapters, they are Ananda Prakaranam. Every chapter ending with the word Ananda. Vivekadeya Ananda Prakaranam. Ananda Prakaranam. That is, they are born of the Viveka, the Ananda. First chapter is Brahmanande Yoganandaha. Second chapter, second means the last second, the last. So first chapter means it is 11th chapter. In fact, it is the total. Brahmanande Yoganandaha, Brahmanande Atmanandaha, Brahmanande Advaitanandaha, Brahmanande Vidyanandaha, and the last chapter, Brahmanande Vishayanandaha. So each chapter is divided into like this: Viveka Prakaranam, Deepa Prakaranam, Ananda Prakaranam. And we are going to see, to start with, the step by step we are going to see. So first chapter, we are going to see the first part of the text, which is Viveka Prakaranam. And in that first chapter, Tattva Viveka Prakaranam is what we are going to see, study now. And how many? Okay, this Panchadashi, they present the Tattvam, the Tatparyam of Vedanta in the form of Shloka. This is present in the form of Shloka. How many shlokas are there? There are about 1,500 shlokas total in all the 15 chapters. In 15 chapters, the Tatparyam of Vedanta is presented in 1,500 verses. That is why I said it's an elaboration of Tattva Bodha. Tattva Bodha, if you stretch it, elongate, then that will become Panchadashi. So you will find a very elaborate, in detail exposition, elaboration. Since Panchadashi is very famous, and therefore there are commentaries available on Panchadashi. There are many commentaries available on Panchadashi written by many acharyas. The tradition, many acharyas had written. And the famous commentary is Padadipika. Padadipika is a famous commentary. It is written by Ramakrishna. It is written by Ramakrishna. and it is called Ramakrishna Tika. Ramakrishna Tika. It is considered, its commentary is considered to be very authentic because he himself studied under Vidyaranya and later Bharati Tirtha. Therefore, so his commentary is what we are going to refer when we discuss the shlokas here. And there's another commentary, Purnananda Kaumudi. Purnananda Kaumudi, written by Achyuta Modaka. That is another commentary. And there is a commentary in Tamil also, it is available. A Tamil commentary on this Ramakrishna Tika. Ramakrishna Tika and Purnananda Kaumudi, all these are in Sanskritam. Everything is Sanskritam only. There is a commentary to Ramakrishna Tika in Tamil that is available. So this is the greatness of the author and the text. Now, with this introduction, now we will get into the text. Before starting the text, we will chant the shloka. We will chant a shloka and offer our namaskara to the Vidyaranya and Bharati Tirtha, the two great saints, Jnanis. This shloka is from a commentary. We will chant that. Natva Shri Bharati Tirtha.
Natva Shri Bharati Tirtha
Vidyaranya Munishwaro
Vidyaranya Munishwaro
Adhimahe Panchadashim
Adhimahe Panchadashim
Kaivalya Padasiddhaye.
Kaivalya Padasiddhaye.
Simple shloka, I will explain the meaning. Bharati Tirtha and Vidyaranya Munishwara, two people, two names are there. Two names are there. Bharati Tirtha and Vidyaranya Muni. Vidyaranya Munishwara, it should be together, not separated. In fact, Bharati Tirtha Vidyaranya Munishwara. Natva Shri Bharati Tirtha Vidyaranya Munishwara. It is one word. Anyway, so Munishwara, because two Muni are there, two Munis are there. Muni means saint, sage, Jnani. Who are those two? Bharati Tirtha and Vidyaranya. Bharati Tirtha is the guru of Vidyaranya. So Vidyaranya's guru. This Ramakrishna, who wrote a commentary on Panchadashi, he studied under both Vidyaranya and Bharati Tirtha. Therefore only I said it is very authentic. And Vidyaranya Muni, first he had written the 26 chapters of Panchadashi. It is said, it's a story also. It is said that he had written the first 6 chapters. And when he showed this to his Guru Bharati Tirtha, he completed the balance 9 chapters, they say. So it made Panchadashi. So Panchadashi was written by them. It's a joint work by Bharati Tirtha and Vidyaranya. The first they say 6 chapters or 10 chapters, the number doesn't matter. The first few chapters written by Vidyaranya, and the later part written and completed by Bharati Tirtha. So, Natva, Namaskaram Krutva, saluted these two great Munis, Bharati Tirtha and Vidyaranya. Bharati Tirtha, Guru of Vidyaranya. So Guru Shishyau Natva. Gurum and Shishyamapi. Gurum Bharati Tirtham, Shishyam Vidyaranyam, Tau Munishwarau, Natva, having saluted, first salutation, that namaskara to be done to the Guru. Because of them only, the teaching of Vedanta is available for our understanding. Teaching of the Vedanta is there, but it is made available for us because of the teaching, because of their compassion to teach the students, the disciples. They explain in detail, leaving no gap, leaving no misunderstanding or wrong understanding. So explain. So therefore, having saluted both of them, Adimahe is Madhyama Purusha Bhagavachana. Ing Purvaka, Adi Purvaka Ing Dhatu. Ing Atmanepadi Dhatu. Always with love Upasarga Adhimahe. We study. What do we study? Panchadashi. We study the Grantha called by the name Panchadashi. So Panchadashi, as I said, the original name was Panchadasha Prakarana. So Panchadashi, Panchadashanam Adhyaharaha Samahara Panchadashi. Like Ashtadhyayi is the Ashtanam Adhyayanam Samaharaha. Similarly, here 15 chapters are there. Panchadashi. So Panchadashim Adhimahe. So we study Panchadashi. Panchadashi is karma. So Panchadashim Adhimage, it is in Ditya Vibhakti. For what? Kaivalya Padasiddhaye. For the Siddhi, Siddhaye, Padasiddhaye, Kaivalya Padasiddhaye, Chaturthi Vibhakti Siddhaye, for accomplishing, for gaining, for the Siddhi of Pada. Pada is what Pada? Kaivalya Pada. A qualifier is a Kaivalya Pada. Pada is Padyate iti Padam. That which you reach is called Padam. Padyate, Gamyate iti Padam. We say Vishnu Padam, Parama Padam, Shivaloka. We say Shivaloka Prapti means going to Shivaloka, Vishnu Loka, Vishnu Padam. So Padam is the place which you reach by travel. That's called Padam. But here we are talking about the moksha, and the moksha is not going anywhere. It is here and now. If it is here and now, that moksha, another name for moksha is Kaivalya. Kaivalya means moksha. If moksha is here and now, then how to gain that? It is not to be gained. It is already Siddha Vishaya. It is already accomplished. It is what you are Muktaha. Your Swarupam is Mukta Swarup. Mukta Swarupam. Because you think you to be bound, therefore you are a samsari. You think yourself to be bound because of ajnanam. So ajnanam is the karanam. So for ajnana nashanam, we did jnanam. How the jnanam comes? Jnanam comes only through words. What words? The words have to come from the shastram and from the teacher. That's why it's called Shabda Pramanam. The words, because the words convey knowledge, and the knowledge removes ajnanam, ajnana nashanat, kaivalyam atrayeva, here itself, here and now. Therefore, Kaivalya Padam is moksha. The moksha is not going to any loka. Moksha is here and now. For that, knowledge is required. Therefore, Panchadashi is required. Panchadashi being a text, it has to be studied. Acharya has taught. So it has to be listened to, it has to be studied. So, therefore, for the accomplishment of Kaivalya Pada, that is moksha, Vayam Panchadashim Adhimage, having saluted this Vidyaranya and Bharati Tirtha Kaivalya Padasiddhaye Vayam Adhimage iti. So this is a Prarthana Shloka written by a commentator before studying the Panchadashi. And the first shloka of the Panchadashi, we will read, we will see the meaning in detail next class. The first shloka is the Prarthana Shloka, Mangala Charana Shloka. The author offers Mangala Charanam. He starts with Mangala Charanam. Any text in the Sampradaya to be written with a Mangala Charanam. Mangala Charanam could be a Vastu Nirdesha Mangala Charanam, or Namaskara Purvaka Mangala Charanam, or Ashirvada Mangala Charanam. So the Mangala Charanam can be of any types. So every text, every author every Acharya in the tradition, they write their work with a prayer. Mangala Charanam is prayer. So here also in Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Muni, he begins the text with a prayer. That prayer text, that verse we will read. The prayer verse, he starts the text. So we will read that prayer. This is the Tika, what you see in the screen, written by Ramakrishna. It's all in Sanskritam. Don't be afraid. We will see only the shloka. The commentary parts, certain things I will explain. We don't have to read everything. Whatever is required from the commentary, that alone I will read and explain both in Sanskritam and English. Now we will see the first shloka, which is a prayer shloka, Mangala Charanam. Can repeat after me. Namah Shri Shankarananda.
Namah Shri Shankarananda.
Guru Padambu Janmane.
Guru Padambu Janmane.
Savilasa Mahamoha.
Savilasa Mahamoha.
Graha Grasaika Karmane.
Graha Grasaika Karmane.
Here also it is, the first line it says Samasa. Namaha is one word. Sri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane is one word. Therefore you have to read Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane. There should not be pause. But for the sake of in the beginning for the sake of the others, cannot chant the whole thing, we break it, but that should not be break. Similarly, second line also. Second line is one word, just big samasa. Savilasa Mahamoga Graga Grasaika Karmane. One word. It is one word. It's a huge it's a big samasa. Samasa means compound. It's a compound word. A compound word looks like a sentence. So we have to break the compound to understand what it means. These things we will do in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.
हरि
Thank you so
ओम.
much.
धन्यवाद जी.
धन्यवाद. Very nice class, Guruji. धन्यवाद जी.